This is the largest private sector contract in the U.S.
My name is Corey Levesque, 15-year Teamster.
My name is Shane Carrigan. I've been with UPS for 5 years. Nick Orabona. I'm a 31-year Teamster.
Jack Warren. I'm the Chief Steward in the package division.
My name's Eric Sneed, and I've been working for UPS for 4 years.
The 22-4 is being pushed inside, doing the same work that you guys do for half the pay. Bother you?
The 22-4 position was created to relieve overtime from the RPCD drivers, and what they've turned it into, they basically do the same job that we do for a lot less pay, and they do not have the same rights that we do.
We're looking for Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth to be recognized as federal holidays. We're all one, brothers and sisters. Why is MLK and Juneteenth not federal holidays for all of us?
I wanted to speak on the excessive overtime. It's ridiculous. They need to hire more employees. This all comes down to UPS's greed.
They pay a poverty wage to our part-time Teamsters. Our part-time Teamsters load our trucks. They make sure that we're squared away before we hit the street. We need to stand together and raise those wages for those part-timers.
They don't do anything on subcontract, and it's definitely a strike issue.
UPS is giving our work to DoorDash.
They're laying off our drivers saying there's no work, but yet they're hiring companies like DoorDash to do our work.
You know, you got people at Amazon doing the same job for half the pay that we have. So they're going to look at this and they're going to say, wow, look at what everybody did, sticking together to get the contract that they deserve.
The company's not the one that have to deal with the physical ramifications of a 30-year career. We are.
They don't believe that we will go on strike, and I think that's a big mistake. We did it, and I was out here in '97, and I'll do it again in 2023.
Absolutely, I'm ready. I want to see this company create better jobs.
You know, you see your driver every day. We are the face of the company.
You were called essential heroes. Heroes, you remember that? Now you're zeros to them. Don't forget how they're treating you. This is the largest collective bargaining agreement in North America. We set the pace for the world.
What do we want?
Contract!
When do we want it?
Now!
Welcome, everybody. My name is Corey Levesque. I'm a steward for Teamsters Local 251 in Rhode Island, and I'm also an elected member of the TDU Steering Committee. This webinar is organized by UPS Teamsters United and Teamsters for a Democratic Union, and we're a grassroots network of Teamster members working together to build union power and win the contract that we deserve. And even though we're independent of the IBT, we are 100% behind our international union's contract campaign at UPS. And we have some amazing guest speakers today, including the General Secretary Treasurer, Fred Zuckerman. And we're gonna hear about the contract negotiations. We'll get an update on that. We're going to hear from shop stewards and members on how they're organizing the contract campaign at their buildings and how you could get involved as well. And we're going to go over new contract campaign materials that you can order to help you inform your members, from signs to palm cards to petitions to banners and ready to strike hoodies and t-shirts. And we're looking for members who want to help organize the contract campaign in their workplace, organize actions and get new members involved and old members. And this is our chance to end givebacks at UPS and win the strong contract that everybody deserves. At the end of the Zoom, we're going to send everyone a short online form. Please fill that out and we'll follow up with you to get you the materials that you need. And please make sure that you fill that out. Now, it's my great privilege to introduce our guest speaker. He stood up against contract givebacks at UPS long before it was popular. And he used to introduce himself as a pissed off Teamster. Today, we introduce him as our General Secretary Treasurer and the co-chair of our National Negotiating Committee, Brother Fred Zuckerman.
Well, thank you, Corey. And thank you for having me on here. It's good to be here with so many dedicated and hardworking Teamsters fighting for a better contract at UPS. Look, we all know the score. The Teamsters represent more than 340,000 UPSers who find their home at 176 Teamster local unions across the country. Since April 17th, our committees have been meeting and bargaining with UPS to secure the best contracts possible. I say contracts because we all know what we achieve in these next few months doesn't come down to the Teamsters National Master Agreement with UPS alone. The Teamsters wanted to begin national negotiations with UPS on April 17th. But if you've been paying attention, and I strongly urge everyone on this call to download the UPS Teamsters app, then you know that national talks did not begin on April 17th. There are 40 supplemental contracts to the national agreement around the country, including riders and addenda. There are 30 of those agreements that were reopened for negotiations ahead of national talks. A handful of those reached tentative agreement prior to April 17th. But because all of them had not been resolved, Sean O'Brien and I made it clear to UPS early on that the Teamsters would not begin national negotiations until all supplements were resolved. Ahead of our planned negotiations, we personally and publicly told UPS to get its act together to finish these supplements. I'd like to report today that we've made tremendous progress in the last 21 days. We've been meeting in Washington and in cities across the country every single day to keep the pressure on UPS to wrap up these supplements. As of today, there are only 2 supplemental agreements awaiting tentative agreement. Our supplemental negotiating committees have been working around the clock, including every single weekend, to reach tentative agreement on 28 of 30 open contracts. Keep paying attention. Keep staying updated on the UPS Teamsters app. Keep posting online yourselves and sharing Teamster content to tell UPS to get these deals done. It is our hope and our intent for national negotiations to begin on Monday with UPS in Washington. But of course, so much of that is reliant on UPS getting serious, making some final movement, and giving our members, all of you, what you have earned. I'd like just to remind everybody on the call that rank and file members, just like you, make up a huge portion of our supplemental and national negotiating teams. For the first time ever, under Sean O'Brien's leadership, we have real rank and filers across all job classifications sitting in and on and informing negotiations. These members come from all parts of the country too. There are about a dozen interviews right now on the International Union social media account with these rank and file members. Please watch them and like them. They are sharing their stories with the world. They are sharing their stories about UPS. Having them in the room to explain how difficult their jobs are at UPS directly to UPS executives is powerful and important. Regardless of the fact that we have 2 additional agreements to force UPS to finalize, we have made huge gains for all UPS Teamsters across our supplements. UPS came to the table early and tried to demand a new work schedule that they could force any UPS Teamster to work any 5 days in any 7-day period. We said no from the onset. We shut it down. And together, we killed this absurd proposal from UPS. That will extend to everyone. We have also locked down tentative agreements for better overtime protections for all part-time Teamsters at UPS. In some regions, this will ensure more money. In some regions, this will protect workers from excessive 6th and 7th day punches. Through these supplemental tentative agreements, we have also secured standing arbitrators across all regions. These arbitrators will guarantee that if your disciplines are resolved faster and that the grievance procedure is working better than it ever has before. Through our bargaining surveys, the Teamsters heard loud and clear from the members that the grievances were taking too long. And the gains made by our supplemental committees have covered a lot of ground to better enforce those grievance protections. Across all these supplements, we have also gotten UPS to agree to stronger language protecting bidding rights and the weight of seniority for our members to move into better jobs. This is particularly important for part-timers who might want flexibility to move into preferred jobs or seek opportunities to become full-time members. This new language will help make that happen and force UPS to create more full-time job opportunities for part-timers. Finally, I want to make something clear to everyone on this call above all else. We have had supplemental negotiating committees meeting with UPS executives around the country since January 22nd. That's well over 4 months now. We have been meeting again with UPS on supplemental issues in Washington since April 17th. That's another 21 days of hard work. At no point during any of these negotiations have the Teamsters made one single concession, not one. We have 85 days left before the expiration of our current contract. July 31st is going to be here real fast. And so far, during all of this hard work since January, we have held the line. We have made zero concessions. We are fighting hard and fighting back. And let me tell you, UPS is getting the message. They might still be dragging their feet. They might be trying their hardest to drag this thing out. But I also get the sense that every time we sit across the table from these corporate lackeys, that they know that we mean business. And I can speak on behalf of the General President that we mean business. We're not giving in. We're not giving them anything back. We are in it to win it. So I strongly urge you to do a couple things to help out your fellow rank and filers and your negotiating committees. First, stay engaged. Keep attending trainings and webinars and Zoom calls just like this one and others hosted by the International Union. Keep attending rallies. Keep checking in on our social accounts, and please use and rely on the UPS Teamsters app. We will have more updates to come. We will keep our news and reports from the front line as transparent as possible, and you will continue to be updated in real time as movement is made. Stay in the fight. We will win it together. On behalf of General President O'Brien, thank you for everything that you are doing. And again, we hope and intend for national talks to begin in earnest next week. So stay tuned, stay strong, and thank you for having me on the call, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Fred. We're going to do everything we can to show UPS that we have your back, because we know you have ours, brother. And I just wanted to give a quick word on contract negotiations timeline and where we're going to be headed. As Fred said, we started with negotiations on 30 supplements and riders, and we still have 2 left to do before national negotiations start. Obviously, they wanted to complete all the supplements before we began national negotiations. The first step will be negotiations on non-economic issues like 9.5 rights, no inward-facing cameras, subcontracting, amongst many other things. UPS needs to show progress on these issues before our union will negotiate on wages and other economic issues. We're not going to let the company just throw money at us and ignore all the other issues. You know, this is a unique opportunity that we get every 5 years to make this company address our issues, and to waste that opportunity would be a shame. At some point this summer, you can expect our union to hold a strike vote, and voting yes increases our bargaining leverage by authorizing our union to call a strike if necessary. A strike cannot be called until after the contract expires on July 31st. But as Fred mentioned, several really important supplemental issues will be dealt with as part of national negotiations. And to talk about that, I'm going to call on the TDU Staff Director, David Levine.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thanks, Corey. There are more than 1,500 people on this call. I don't know if you can see that number at the bottom of your screen like I can, but that's fantastic. And it shows an incredible amount of interest in members stepping up. And that's awesome. I've been working at TDU since the 1997 UPS strike. We won then, and we're going to win this time. And for the same reason, which is this is the first time since 1997 that there's been a real contract campaign where members are mobilizing at the rank and file level in partnership with strong international union leadership. And that's the winning That's the winning recipe. TDU and our UPS Teamsters United campaign are here to help members like you organize where you are, build the contract campaign, build our bargaining leverage. And, you know, we're going to have some update on this call, and you need to stick around to the end when we're going to be providing new contract campaign materials that you can use to do just that. Now, if you're on this call, you know the strike issues. They've been laid out on the Contract Unity Pledge and leaflets, on social media, on conference calls, and we're all going to keep pounding that drum. A number of these strike issues overlap both supplemental and national negotiations. So, and we can see some of them on the screen here. They include more paid holidays, specifically MLK Day and Juneteenth. Now, your holidays are like defined in your supplement, but winning more paid time off is a national priority and a national fight. UPS is headquartered in Atlanta, the birthplace of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and it's a disgrace that the company ignores and disrespects this holiday. The post office and Amazon both recognize MLK Day as a paid holiday, and we're going to make UPS deliver more paid holidays, including MLK Day and Juneteenth. In terms of 22-4, 4-6 punch, these are very familiar issues to all of us on the call. And these are strike issues that are going to be resolved in national negotiations, but they also affect language in every supplement, specifically work week language. Everyone here knows that 7-day delivery is coming at UPS. Right now, Article 24 of the National Agreement allows UPS to have a Tuesday to Saturday or a Wednesday to Sunday work week. Now, when Article 22.4 goes away, some of the supplements will still have a Wednesday to Sunday work week written into their language, some of the big ones. We haven't fought since 2018 against two-tier 22.4 to eliminate it, that two-tier, to create a second two-tier system, a new one, where some drivers have a Wednesday to Sunday work week and absolutely no weekend. We haven't, fought against two-tier to make that happen. UPS can do all the deliveries that they need to while still having every package car driver being an RPCD, with having no 4-6 punches, and with having work weeks that are Monday to Friday, Tuesday to Saturday, or Sunday to Thursday. And we need to unite and make sure that the company is getting that message. Now, Fred, in his remarks, made an important announcement about grievance procedure reform and a victory there. This has been another strike issue, strengthening and reforming the grievance procedure. And a big improvement on the table in all the supplements has been speeding up the grievance procedure on disciplinary grievances by having a sitting arbitrator at the panel who can break deadlocked cases and stop the company from stonewalling and keeping members in the street. And here to explain how that reform works and delivers for the members is International Union trustee and Local 804 president, Vincent Perrone.
Thanks, Dave. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So good morning, brothers and sisters. And first of all, I want to thank everybody for being on this Zoom call. I also want to thank the leadership of Sean O'Brien and Fred Zuckerman, because it's a pleasure to see people standing across the table, sitting across the table against UPS and being firm with them and not moving at the pace that UPS wants people to move. It's really intense, and it's really good to watch them squirm. So just a little history on arbitration and panel in my local. In 2013, or prior to that, we had the old, arbitration system, and UPS tactics were scaring and intimidating people, as they are still today. But back then, it got to the point where my members were waiting a year to a year and a half with bullshit discipline, actually. I'll just say it like it is. People were on the street for up to a year and a half for offenses that they were just trying to scare and intimidate our members. So we went into 2013 negotiations, and I was a rank and file member on the committee. And one of the big things that we wanted was a local grievance panel with a sitting arbitrator. They weren't totally against it because it does cost a lot to go to arbitration. But, you know, in the end, we did get it, and we modeled it after Local 705 in Chicago and Local 25, Sean's local in Boston. So like I said, our members were waiting so long for this, for their day in court, as they say. There was a black cloud hanging over our local. So when we changed it in 2014, we went to the panel system. We immediately got good results. It was a game changer in our local. And if you fast forward to now, to 2023, the time between a person getting terminated to get to an arbitrator is down to about 4 weeks. So imagine what kind of stress that takes off a person who gets unjustly discharged, even someone who gets discharged for a valid reason. They might get their jobs back. But now, instead of waiting a year and a half, losing your house, seeing your family suffer, you know, you're going to get resolution to this in basically a month. Well, that's what we've gotten it down to. And we all know that UPS are sadists. UPS labor managers and management in general, they're sadistic people, and they just like to take pleasure in firing people, putting them on notices of suspension. But what we found out under this panel system is that they don't like to work either, because under our system, there's no lawyers involved. Our business agents prepare our cases, you know, their labor managers present their cases. There's more of us than there are of them, and we are across the country where this panel system is already in place. We're a hell of a lot more talented than they are. So I think that this was a great win, because not only, you know, does it affect people's jobs, but it affects their sanity, basically. So, you know, Teamsters are better, they're smarter at preparing cases. And we've watched countless times UPS fumble the ball, not prepare cases correctly, just bring members back with settlements that are, you know, agreeable to the member and to us. And just the time frame is a game changer. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Vinny. Thanks for making the time this morning. So the big change here is that at these grievance panels, there will be a sitting arbitrator right there. You won't have to wait to go to arbitration. So the company panel reps and the union panel reps will hear a case. If the company deadlocks it, then an arbitrator is there to issue a decision right away. And the company can't use the threat of stonewalling and delays to make you take a suspension, time served suspension that you didn't deserve. So this is a major win. Health and welfare and pensions are two more major issues that overlap supplemental and national negotiations. The way that works, the money for benefits is negotiated in the national negotiations as part of the overall economic package. And then it is divided in your supplement between health and welfare and pension benefits. There are two big exceptions to this. Part-timers have their pension negotiated directly in the contract, and they are due a pension increase big time. The other big exception is for more than 60,000 UPS full-timers in 22 states who used to be in the Central States Pension Fund and are now in what's called the IBT UPS Pension Fund. This is the biggest pension fund for UPS full-timers, and it is far and away the most substandard pension fund. And here to talk about this is a driver who is part of that pension plan, Nichelle Fulmore of North Carolina, Local 391. Take it away, Nichelle.
All right, Dave. Good morning, brothers and sisters. As Dave was saying, we got over 60,000 full-time UPSs in the IBT pension plan, which covers 22 states, central and southern areas. We have the lowest pension of any UPS Teamster in the country. Our 30 and out pension is $3,800 a month. Teamsters in the second biggest UPS fund, the Western Conference Fund, with 30 years can retire with $5,000 a month. Their accrual amount this year in the West is over $350. In our fund, the accrual is only $175. We're doing the same work, but their pension is growing twice as fast as ours. It's not just the West. Teamsters pensions fund are also much higher in New England, Chicago, New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., and other plans. It's not just, I'm not talking much higher, $1,000 a month higher compared to us. Now's our chance to win the pension we deserve. Fred Zuckerman, who kicked off this call, know all about this. He's not happy about it. The members in Louisville 89 are in this plan, and Fred and Sean will be fighting for a pension increase. The benefits for 60,000 Teamsters in the IBT UPS plan is negotiated directly in Article 34 of the contract. We can win 5,000 at least for 30 years and out, and 5,500 or more for 35 and out, and a big increase in the annual accrual so our pension can grow instead of stagnating. What we win is up to us. The company needs to see that we are watching Article 34 and uniting to end substandard pensions in the largest pensions plan. UPS Teamsters United is going to hold a webinar on May the 20th to educate and unite members on our pension issue. We will be printing leaflets, palm cards, petitions, and more that you can use to inform and unite the rank and file. Don't wait and see what happens. Get involved and help make this issue, help make it happen. Now is the time while we're going through contract negotiations. Give it back to you, Dave.
Actually, I'm going to take over, Nichelle. Thank you very much. When the national contract negotiations start, management's going to be testing all of our members to see if we're united behind our strike issues. And that's the time that it's going to be most vital for us to enforce our rights on the shop floor. We need to inform, involve, and unite members across all classifications at UPS. You know, when we bring information to our members and we enable them to enforce their rights on the shop floor, it makes all of us stronger. Just remember, you don't have to be a business agent or a steward to be a leader on the shop floor. And that's why the International Union is asking members and local unions to hold contract actions like parking lot meetings. And across the country, we see it happening everywhere. In a minute, we're going to go over the last contract campaign tools that are available from UPS Teamsters United. But right now, we're going to hear from a couple of Teamsters who have been organizing contract campaign actions where they work. First up is Luis Rivera from Local 948 in California. Luis?
Hey guys, morning brothers and sisters. My name is Luis Rivera. I'm a 19-year UPSer, package driver, Visalia Building, California, Local 948. Shout out to the NorCal Rebel Alliance. You know who you guys are. But in April, yeah, we organized a parking lot meeting around the contract unity pledge, and well, before that was earlier, and then the last one just ramping up our energy. Yeah, we trying to get our members involved in our building. It's a brand new building. It's only been open a couple years. We got nearly 1,000 employees there, and so yeah, we went out the day before, handed out invite flyers, just informing members, hey, this is when we're going to do it. This is it's tomorrow. Show up. We had our largest turnout that we've had. We had 60 plus drivers out there, which is huge for us. We're not a building that's known for getting down, but we're changing that. We're putting a work in to change our culture, and yeah, we're getting busy, man. We had a lot of members involved. Our business agent is starting to back us with that. We had our local vice president out there. We just had a lot of a nice cross section of the various camps from our building. You guys know how that is when sometimes not everyone's aligned, but it's contract season. We all got to come together. We use the banners and the signs from the international, from UPS Teamsters United. We handed out a lot of information that week. We've been handing out information every week to especially our part-timers. That's a huge one, letting them know that this contract is really, it's their contract. It's for their future. And at that big meeting that we had, Members had a lot of questions, a lot of logistics questions, a lot of possible, strike. What's going to happen? Where are we going to gather? Our building is not pedestrian friendly at all. It's on the edge of a town. It's surrounded mostly by country, fast moving vehicles, and so yeah, there's a lot of work that we still need to do and that we're doing. We're planning our next meeting on the 18th of this month. Yeah, we're just going to continue to ramp up that energy, keep bringing it out, keep informing members, bringing their questions. We had last week we had a question box out there for members to ask questions about anything about the new contract or possible strike. We're going to be addressing those this month, and we got more planned for the next months. Yeah, and I'm not experienced at organizing this at all. I'm very new to this, but anyone can do it. I've just been taking the internationals messages, these webinars, and putting out in the group chats, letting people know, hey, you guys we need our leaders involved, and if you guys are down, hey, cool, that's better. But if you're not, we're going to do it anyways. We're going to be out there organizing this and getting our guys involved and keeping them informed and ready ready for what has to go down. If worst comes to worst, then hey, we're ready for the fight. We're going to put it on them. And you guys can do it. It doesn't take a lot, really. It really does not. And right now, I mean, we're getting united, and I think we're more united than we've ever been. And we're ready to go, ready to strike if we have to. Right? Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. Thank you, Luis. Next, let's hear from Gage Sullivan, a local 406 Teamster who's been organizing with part-timers in Michigan.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Gage Sullivan. I've been a UPSer for the last 8 years and a package car driver out of the Petoskey, Michigan building, local 406. I was a preloader during the last contract, and that in 2018, like nobody reached out to the part-timers. Like it was kind of sad. We didn't even really know there was a contract going on. And that's now, as a driver, it's a huge deal that we get as many of those part-timers into this contract, because it went without a doubt. We didn't even know what was going on. And then we get it ratified, and then we get back pay. We're like, oh, that was kind of neat. But it's important to me that we get all these part-timers involved. They're UPSers too. This is their fight. We got to speak out for them. We need to be their voice. At our building in Petoskey, we organized a parking lot meeting in April, specifically just for the preloaders. We came in 20 minutes before their shift, and then we set up a table outside with a whole bunch of banners, coffee, donuts. But we showed, like, hey, even though you guys start when nobody else is awake, we're here for you. And the meeting was a huge success. We're not a huge building, as you can see, but I promise you that's more than, I think that was everybody but one maybe that just called in. But we talked about everything with strike issues and the supplement negotiations and what we're fighting for. And most of them, this is their first contract, so they had a lot of questions. They didn't know what was up by any means, but that's why we're here to help bridge that. The part-timers appreciated that the driver showed up and that we were there for them. We really built solidarity and connections. And now that we need to keep the solidarity going, we're planning more parking lot meetings in May, and we're going to be handing out them palm cards that the full-timers and part-timers have each other's back on this. Because, I mean, it's really us and them versus the corporate giant UPS, and they need a voice too. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Gage. As national contract negotiations are starting, it's time to turn up the heat at UPS and make sure that everybody involved knows what's at stake. We have new contract campaign materials available to help you do that. First, we have new materials to make UPS deliver for part-timers. Part-timers need to know that we care about their issues and that we are fighting for all of us, not just one classification. We have palm cards letting members know. sorry about that. We have palm cards that are letting members know what we are fighting for. It's higher part-time pay, an end to MRA abuse. All the part-timers had to deal with that this year. Starting wages of at least $25 an hour. Catch-up raises for current part-timers so they're not making the same as new hires. More full-time 22/3 jobs, MLK Day and Juneteenth holidays, and better part-time pensions, which is a big issue for a lot of our part-timers. We're also launching a petition drive to make UPS deliver for part-timers. And this petition is online, but the best way to collect signatures is face-to-face. I mean, during this contract campaign, I've been talking to part-timers, not only the ones that I already knew from when I was part-time, but a lot of the new part-timers as well, and just making sure that they're educated about these issues. A lot of part-timers are pissed off. You know, we've dealt with displacements and layoffs, and we're ready to fight back against UPS and show them that we're not going to take it anymore. You know, we're going to collect thousands of signatures nationwide and deliver them to management. So sign up to get these materials by filling out the form, and we will email you and text you after this call. We also have palm cards that list our contract demands that are strike issues. Every Teamster needs to know what we're fighting for and what we will strike for, if that's what it takes. The palm cards have a QR code on them that links to a video that breaks down UPS's profits and financials and our strike leverage, if it comes to that. You know, these palm cards are great for parking lot meetings or to pass out at the gate. They're really quick. You give them to members and they could read them whenever they get a minute, you know, whether they're on break on the package car or in the building. You know, we've also got rally signs that you could use for parking lot meetings or to have members put on their dashboards in the parking lot. Management does see those on their cars. Again, just fill out the online form and we'll follow up with you. You also saw the great hoodies and banners in these photos, and I've been getting a lot of questions about those too. Obviously, you could have one as well. If you join TDU today, the annual dues are just $50 and we'll send you a Ready to Strike hoodie. Or if you join for 3 years for $100, we'll send you a Ready to Strike hoodie and the contract campaign banner. Or you can buy what you need at the TDU online store, tdu.org/store. We're also going to have Kathy Boston speak from Washington. Kathy, take it away.
Thanks, Corey. Good. So this contract negotiation is a big deal. This contract will change over 350,000 lives of people that work across the country. It will guarantee us better wages, unify us by eliminating the two-tier rule. As you know, 22-4 has a different system that divided us for over 4 years. This contract will put a stop to harassment, restore the quality of life that we used to have by not being forced to work or choose between our family and your career by working 5 or 6 days a week. And certainly make the part-time employee a valuable part of the UPS workforce. Many of you know in 1997, those who walked the strike line fought for us and sacrificed so that persons like myself would enjoy the pension benefits, paid vacation time, but we continue this fight. Today, we are reaching the pinnacle of that fight. But this fight is not just about us. This fight is for every American worker across the country. It's about West, East, Middle, and even the bayous of the South. This fight is for every American worker that's working from paycheck to paycheck, clinging on the ray of hope that their environments will be better because of what happens with our contract. Each of you know people who work in different sections of society. For example, the Amazon worker, the Chipotle brothers and sisters, mom grocery stores, they're busy organizing for change. And this is the incendiary spark that they need to ignite the fire in their burning desires for change and their livelihoods. We must lead this change that everyone wants to see. So this is your moment to change history. You, us. What you do now in your barns and in your shops and in your locals will change the outlook of for every American worker across the country. Yes, organizing for change is never easy. Trust me, I got a building that's extremely difficult to achieve change, but we can help you get there. If you need help organizing, mobilizing, just reach out to us. If you like what you've heard today and want to join this amazing group of leaders, trendsetters, and who knows how to spark the interest, click on the link that you get in the bar and join us. Without a doubt, TDU is the place to be. There's no other grassroots organization that can teach you, mobilize you, strategize, and change the course of union history like TDU. Don't wait, join now. We thank you for joining us. I'll pass it back to my brother and partner in crime, Corey Levesque. So until then, let us remain Teamster United.
Thank you, Carthy. And everybody appreciates the work that you're putting in. You're amazing. Thank you, everyone. Please keep an eye out for that Get Involved form that's on its way to you. Please fill it out. We will go over what you send back and we'll get in touch and get you organized and give you everything you need to succeed with the contract campaign in your building. I want to thank everybody that came on the call today. Thank you, Fred Zuckerman, Vinnie Perrone, Nichelle Fulmore, Louise Rivera, Gage Sullivan, Carthy Boston, and most of all, thank you all that took the time out on Sunday to join us. We'll see you next time.